And welcome back to my video tutorials. This is part 7 and I'm looking at Microsoft Word 2016 and we're going to have a quick look at the Review tab. So I'm going to start from left to right with spelling and grammar. So let's create some text in there first and make a few spelling errors. Click on the beginning and we can use the F7 button, which is a shortcut key to do a spelling and grammar check. Underlines it red automatically when there's a spelling error. You can change that in your options. I'll show you that in a minute. Also, it underlines it blue when it's a grammar issue. So I'm going to press F7 shortcut key, or I could click the top left hand corner button on the ribbon spelling and grammar, and it brings this window open on the right, and you can see it's highlighted my first incorrect word that's spelt wrong, which is online. Now I can choose whether or not to ignore that and forget about it and leave it as it is, or I could just select ignore all, so it totally ignore the whole spelling errors in the document. Or I might decide actually add that word to my dictionary. Or I just might want to change the spelling to the correct spelling. It gives you suggestions here in the middle. Or if I've made that spelling incorrect without the L and online, I can select change all if I made that spelling incorrect all the way through my document instead of me have to do it one by one. Also, you've got a text to speech option here to listen to the word back. So I'm going to change the spelling on online and then it will go to my next option, and you can see it gives me the first suggestion it thinks it might be, and I can choose what I want to do with that. So I might click ignore all and click OK, and you can see because I've pressed ignore all it didn't correct that error for me. So that's nice and straightforward. But there's another good option with spelling and grammar. It's the custom dictionaries, which I really think it's important to use. So let's get rid of that text. Say you're using unusual words or strange words. Let me give you an example. Procrastinate, don't know if I pronounced that correctly. Slickery and snert, and they're all words that are not actually in a dictionary. Now, I could use the spelling and grammar option, couldn't I? And then I could decide actually I'm going to add them to my dictionary. But why don't you create custom dictionaries depending on what you're doing? In a company you might be using certain abbreviations or codes. Why don't you add all those codes or abbreviations to one custom dictionary and only select it when you require it? Or for here you might want to use these words when you're doing a specific subject, be it medical, English degree, history degree, so you can choose custom dictionaries you've created with words in it depending on what you're doing, and that should make your workflow better. So instead of just adding to my main dictionary so it always comes out as the correct word, I'm going to close that and I'm going to create a custom dictionary. So go up to File, and on the left I want to go down to the options and select proofing on the left there. Then come down to it says when correcting spelling in Microsoft Office programs, go straight to the bottom and select custom dictionaries. As you see, I've got a default dictionary there already, but there's nothing in it. If there was something in it, it'd give me edit word list because I've added no words to it. Now I could add all my words to the default dictionary. It could be abbreviations for companies, medical terminologies, all in one. So I'm going to create a new dictionary, custom dictionary. I'm going to call this words. And it's going to save it into my Microsoft Office folder. I'm going to click save, and there you can see it's now selected. I don't want to use my default one, but I've got nothing in there at the moment. I just want to use my main one, which is strange words. Also, if you look at my roaming custom dictionary, you can see I've added words in the past. Names an example that I've needed to put in there. I can even add names into that. I'm also going to add my words into strange words by clicking edit word list, and then I can type those words in I wanted. Click enter and add your next word. And my last word, snert. Click OK. I've now created a dictionary with those words, so they won't come up as an issue. So I'm going to leave my roaming one on where I've got just my miscellaneous words, but I'm going to leave my special dictionary on now, custom dictionary for certain words. So if I click OK and click OK, you can see the spelling's now disappeared because I've created my custom dictionary. So if I go back to my options, proofing, custom dictionaries, and untick my strange word custom dictionaries, click OK, it becomes spelling errors again. So that could be useful to separate depending on what you're doing topics. So let's try a different one. Let's say I'm using, so let's just type a few general, making them up as I go along, but just to kind of give you the idea. So I've added a few words there, but I just might only want to use my custom I might want to create a custom dictionary just for those codes or abbreviations. So File, Options, Proofing, Custom Dictionaries, and I'm now going to add another one. So select New. And this one I'm going to call Company, and I'm going to click Save. I've now got my company abbreviations. Again, I've got nothing in there if I click Edit Word List. Now if you don't want to add them in this way manually, you can always untick. Click Yes, and untick all your other vocabularies and just leave the one you want to work with, which is company abbreviations. Click OK. Click OK. So then when you right click on your abbreviations, you can then add that to your dictionary. Left click, then do a right click and add to dictionary. So now those words are added to the dictionary. Go to File, Options, Proofing, and let's look at your custom dictionary. Got company abbreviations, click Edit Word List, and there they are because you've added them. So play around with your custom dictionaries and choose what you select. So if I click OK and then untick that, you might be working with just your strange words. So I'm going to click Yes, click OK, and then you can see they're now areas because I've unticked your company abbreviations and the strange words are now useful. So there's many different uses you can use that, be it a medical degree, law degree. So definitely worth a little play around with. As your spelling and grammar, let's have a look at your thesaurus. Again, I'm going to create some text in there quickly. And I'm going to use the thesaurus options. It's got your options for synonyms of words. So say you're paraphrasing work. You need to put more in your own words, so I'm going to left click on professional and do a right click, and it will give me a synonym list, which is your thesaurus built in. So I've got professionally, job wise, work wise. To work, for money, for living, as a job. And the opposite of professionally, it's given me it as an antonym, which is casually. You've also got skillfully in there. Now I can assess the thesaurus dictionary by clicking that button there, or just by highlighting the word you want to check and selecting it up here, which is thesaurus. Then brings it up on the right and gives you that list here. Now it's worth looking up here because it gives you more options, as you can see underneath. Skillfully, it then goes to competently, proficiently, efficiently. Then you can scroll down and select the word that you might want to change it to. So I'm going to select, so I'm going to click on proficiency, go down to the bottom and listen to the word spoken back from text to speech.
Proficiently.
In a proficient manner. Select see more, it will go online to the definitions.net, and you can check the word there as well if you require. And if I go for example to proficiently, do a right click, I can then click insert and then it changes it in my document for me. And click close. So that's your thesaurus. You then have your word count, which is really important if you have an essay to do a dissertation. Click on word count and you can check your word count in your document. So you can see I've got one page, 239 words, characters with no spaces and characters with spacing, and the amount of paragraphs and lines I have as well. They can also include in that, if you need to, text boxes, footnotes and endnotes is really important as well, because sometimes you need to include your footnotes and endnotes and referencing, sometimes you don't, so bear that in mind. How about using Smart Lookup? So I'm going to highlight proficiently and select Smart Lookup, and it brings up a little window that goes online for you. We have Wikipedia here, so if I click on Wikipedia it brings up the website and goes straight there with the word. Also if you scroll down, you've got your standard web search here, proficiently there. By the way, if you highlight the text and hold the Windows key on your keyboard bottom left and click the Enter key,
Starting Document 1 Word window, Document 1, Editing.
So you might just want to hit that paragraph back quickly, click the cursor at the beginning and use the shortcut key Caps Lock and M
To make your document look proficiently produced.
and click Control to stop. Just wanted to show you that quick so you can read it back as well. So that will work in the definitions here. Hold the left button, drag it,
Proficiency may refer to
and it'll
language
read back for you.
proficiency.
Click Control to stop. So I'm going to turn that off at the bottom and click Exit Off Narrator. Now with Smart Lookup you can only use the Bing search engine. You can't change it. You can change it through the registry, but I do not recommend doing that, because if you mess up your registry then you're in trouble. It's always a good idea to back that up. I'm going to close that window. So let's Smart Lookup, which brings us Translate. So we can translate our documents into various languages. So if I left click, we can translate a document which is default United States to Arabic, or translate selected text. So if I highlight selected text, it will then translate it, or mini translator section by section. Let me try on the first one. Click on video and select translate document. Brings up a window, and it will just tell him it's going to go online and use a third-party translation service which is online. You can put don't show again, but it's safe, so I'm going to click yes, and there's a translator. And if you want here as well, you could even paste an internet link in there and have that translate into a different language. But as that's the text I had here, it should be translated to Arabic. So when I hover over it, you can see what it is in English, and then on the actual online document you can see where it says in Arabic, and you can change the languages there if you need to as well. Again, translate, you can translate selected text, so you might decide you only want to translate the last paragraph. Select translate and selected text, and again I'm going to leave that warning up just to show you. Click yes, and it will come up on the right and translate it here. If you hold the left button, drag that out so you can see that better. And then we've got a translator here on the right. You can assess and change your languages there. You can even use the insert button to insert that language into your document by clicking the insert button. If you need more information on Microsoft Translator, look to the bottom. You've got all reference books there and all research sites as well. And last in Translator, a mini translator that will pause on words or selected paragraphs. So there's your translation options. Brings us to your languages. Left click on language and select proof in language. You can see I've got English United Kingdom, but make sure you choose your correct one and make sure you click set as default. If it's not picking up your language properly and keeps changing, then untick detect language automatically and select it here, then select as default. You can choose whether or not you want to check spelling or grammar, but I always leave that unticked, especially with my spelling and grammar skills. Click OK. Now comments. You can add comments to your paragraphs or sentences just to help you, just to assist you. It might be to look back at information, just might be to remind you. So let me click on the end of best fits your document, and I might want to add a new comment there. Pops up to the right, I'm going to type in what the comment was. And tap off it. Now I've got my comment there, so when I hover over, click on it, brings up the comment. And actually when I did it a few seconds ago as well. So I need to do more research on videos. Come to the little drop down arrow, we can move that, select left click so you can move that comment. It just automatically attaches itself to your cursor, so you might want to drop it further up, left click, and it stays there. Also, I do a click on it, you can change the size. That enables you automatically, you don't need to go to the corners, the cursor attaches to it automatically and you can move it around, left click to stop. Also, you can just close that comment. It's still there, left click on it and it will come up. It just closes it, what you can see. Then you might go down and add another comment here. Again, new comment, and type in a comment there. Put your comment there, close it, and again it's attached. So when you are in the review option, you come up the top here and you can click previous, next, and you can go through all your comments one by one. Or you might go show comments, so it shows them all on the right here. A little window pops up so you can assess all your comments in your document that you've added. And if you don't want them, just click the delete button, then go to previous and click the delete button, and all your comments are now gone. I'm going to untick show comments. So we've got your proof in, insights, and language, and comments. Let's have a look at your tracking. Now you might want to track changes you've made. You might be working on various documents and need to know when you've added what and where. So that's when we use track changes option. Let me show you, because you're probably thinking, well, I could just do undo and go back, but if you close the document and you're working on another document, it's not going to work. So if you select track changes, so I've turned it on here, if I click the little arrow underneath, I could put lock tracking, which means you have to enter a password for anyone to assess the tracking to turn it off or on, because you don't want someone else messing with your document when you put your track changes on. But I want to leave that off, but you see it's highlighted that it's on. So now if I start doing some formatting options, I might want to format that And I might go to home and decide I'm going to bold that. And I might go to my next option here, and I might even add a bit of information in there. And I might come to the bottom here and I might even highlight that word and italicize that. Now if I go back to my review tab, track changes, I can come up to the right here, and this is my options where I can now assess my changes. So I've got simple markup. How do I want to see the changes in my document? Now I can select all markup. So now you can see all the changes I've made. On the right here I formatted a few seconds ago, font bold that paragraph. I come down here as well, and you can see when I've italicized that word. And also it's underlined it red here because that's the words I've just added as well. And if I hover over, it tells you when I inserted those words in the ribbon. So that way I can now track my changes. Also on the drop down menu, you have no markup. So it just shows you how the document originally looks. Click on it and you can have back to original. And that's how it originally looked before I did any changes. Underneath you've got show markup, so you might decide exactly what you want to show in the markup option. So let's go back to the top, and I'm going to select all markups. But I decide that I don't want to see all the markups. I might not want the formatting option shown. So now it's got rid of all my formatting options on the right, and it's only showing me why I added the extra words. Click back on it and you can change how you want that to come up. So I'm going to select that again. So it's a really powerful option to track your changes and what you've done. Click back on it, turns it off. If you've done all your formatting options shown, click on and select original to see how it originally looked. Also your reviewing pane, so you can see that information. So if I click on it, see on the left here, it's got my formatting I've added, which was bold, inserted word in the ribbon, and also the format I used, italic or italicize. I can change how I want to see that viewing pane. I might want it viewing pane horizontal at the bottom, and now you can see it at the bottom. Again, change it. I might want to go viewing pane vertical, and it's now vertical. Hold the left button, you might even want to drag it to your right, so you can drag it horizontally or vertically if you want by dragging it. Tap off it, bottom right hand corner, so you've got an extra option there, change tracking options. You can change your various options there by default, because you might decide, well, I never want to track my comments, you can untick that. Or I never want to track my formatting options, so you untick that. So every time you tick tracking changes, it won't use those options. And again, if you want to go more into depth on how it works, you can go into advanced options, including highlighting your text formatting, highlighting your track moves, your track formatting here, and the colour, and show lines connecting to text. So have a look for those options and play around with them, because they can really help you. They can really be useful when you are building documents. Click OK. The next option. This is to do with your tracking option. So let me show you. If I click on all markup with all those changes, I could then accept and move to next, or reject. So I might decide, actually I don't want my bold option, so I'm going to reject and move to next. I can move manually, going to each option, or previous. So if I go to previous and click reject, it rejects the formatting option because I don't want that anymore. So I can go back on my work and choose what I wanted and what I didn't want. I can click next. Did I want my italicized? Yep, I'm happy with that. If I go previous, did I want my text I put in there in the ribbon? No, I'm going to reject that. And it changes it back to how it originally was. And you see on the right, it gives me the time when I did that. So that's how you track your changes with tracking and everything. Then you can see, visualize how it's been tracked. And on the right, you can change those changes if you want specific ones or all of them. So I'm just going to go back to original. So there's your tracking and changes, which brings us to compare. This helps you compare two docs to see the difference between them. For example, combine revisions from different people to a single document, and you'll see what's different. Let me show you what I mean. I've got two Word documents on my desktop about analog display, and they're both slightly different. So if I select compare, and I want to compare those two versions. So on the right, I'm going to select. Now I'm going to click OK for it to check it, and you can see straight away where it's giving me the differences in that document. And you can see the words that have coming up there. There's only the word options that are different in there. There is no formatting or any other options. But you can see what's happened with the document here, where deleted resolution, and you see where I've made my changes here. So I've got rid of reproduce and reproduces, and that way you can check from one document to another what the difference is. And that's also useful if you're doing a draft or revision document as well, and you check that to the original when you finished it. Also, if I come back up here, because remember we're also using the options or markup as it shows us, click simple markup or click back to original. Also with compare, you might want to compare them two and combine them. So if I click combine, I'm now going to take those two documents and click OK, and then it combines those two documents into one. So again, a handy little option. So you could combine different revisions from different people all into one document to work off a group project. The next option is protect. When you work on a document that is stored in a workplace, you can block authors from changing specific sections of that document. But it's important to remember the feature is only available when your document is saved to Microsoft SharePoint Foundation. Then you can highlight what you want, block the authors, and then restrict the editing on that. So if I go to restrict editing here on the right, then you can decide what you want to restrict editing on. Be it limit formatting to selection of style, only allow this type of editing in the document, and you select in the drop down menu what you want. Bear in mind, if you are using a document and you work in Office and you do go away, someone else needs to work on that document, then you have to make sure that they know how to unblock that to be able to edit the file, unless you specifically choose what you want them to be able to edit.